And we've started unloading. Once again, using machine sync, hands-free, right around 47,000 pounds already on the cart. We usually try to put around 55, 56 on the semis. So Dad's gonna top me off. You can hear he's nudging me down here below. That's all those sounds. That way he can top off the grain cart. Welcome back to High Tech Farmer. Today I'm driving our John Deere 8R340 with our Brent V1100 bushel grain cart. Driving this all day, and I thought what better time than to bring you guys along, show you some of the technology upgrades inside of this tractor and how it can drive autonomously connected to the combine. So let's go inside the cab and see what we can find. The way this tractor here connects to the combine and drives itself autonomously is through this Generation 4 display, or what I call the brain box of the tractor. And inside here there is an application and a software that we have paid for to put on here called Machine Sync. And this syncs this tractor here that I'm in to the combine. The way this tractor here syncs to the combine is with this GPS globe. As you can see, the combine has one on the cab of it as well. And this globe and that globe talk to each other to sync the distance between this tractor and the combine. To give you a better perspective of what we use Machine Sync for, this load here, I'm not going to use Machine Sync, so I'll have to control, I'm controlling the speed by myself and controlling the distance to the bean head. And you'll probably hear Dad over the radio say, oh, you don't have Machine Sync on, because as the combine driver, it's definitely beneficial because you can nudge the grain cart forward and ahead, and the grain cart speed is controlled by the combine. So we're just gonna try one here. Actually, this is my first time all year not using Machine Sync, just to give you guys a view of what that looks like without this technology.
Okay, you got it.
And we got it loaded without Machine Sync there, but as you can tell, I had to look back and forth to see where the bean head was to make sure I don't get too far ahead of that unloading auger on the combine. This time to unload, I want to show you how Machine Sync works. So I'm going to get my speed all the way up to full throttle, hit my auto track resume button, you should hear a ding, and the tractor is going to steer itself up to the combine. Look at that. No hands on the wheel. Well, my butt came a little bit out of the seat, but it should bring me right up to the combine. We're going right around 10 miles an hour, and then it'll slow up the auger wagon. That way you can unload on the go. And this right here is why I love technology and Machine Sync here on our tractor, because I don't have to keep looking over here at the bean head to make sure I'm not too far ahead. Don't have to control my speed. Don't even have to touch a steering wheel. Just sitting here, watch how many pounds are going into the wagon. See here on the screen, he can shift me, so by each individual arrow, he can either shift me forward, back, left, right. And the main reason for the shifts is because this wagon here, grain cart, is I believe 18 feet long. So that way he can fill it from the front all the way to the back and get a nice big heavy load on there to go on the semi. Although the Machine Sync can set my speed and control the steering wheel when I'm next to the combine, when I get over here next to the semi where I need to unload the grain out of my hopper into the semi, that is still all manually driven and controlled by me inside the cab here with hydraulic controls. So I know there's a handful of companies that are working on that technology to automate this process here, but at the moment there's nothing on our farm or that I'm aware of that can automate this process of unloading onto the semi. Another nice feature of Machine Sync is up in this top left corner where it shows the percentage of the grain fill from the combine, and that's especially nice because in beans Sometimes, depending on the length of the rows and the rounds, we won't unload every time. So here I can look on here to gauge whether or not he's gonna want to unload on the go. And since it's showing 50, we're gonna unload this time. After seeing and understanding more of what the automation inside the cab can do between the grain cart and combine, some of you might be wondering, Matthias, why as a farmer, you run that equipment all the time, why would you pay for something like that? You could just get by doing it the same way you did, steering, looking over your shoulder. Well, let me give you a couple reasons as to why this technology, in my opinion, pays for itself. Reason number one for me is efficiency. When we used to run the grain cart and combine without machine sync, a lot of the times the combine operator would want to either speed up or slow down, and the grain cart operator would then try to follow suit, and it often ended in a cat and mouse game where the combine would speed up, slow down based off the grain cart, and it just never ended up the best. Reason number two is fatigue. For me, given this is the first day all fall, I've ran the grain cart all day long, but looking over your shoulder constantly throughout the day is not a fun experience, especially when we're working out here 10, 14, even 17-hour days. And reason number three, which is to reduce the risk of collisions between the grain cart and the combine and bean head. With some of the dusty conditions we're seeing again this fall, machine sync definitely helps keep this straight in line with the combine and make sure we don't run into the bean head. Some of the other technology upgrades with this tractor is I am now able to see some of the cameras that we have on here. So we have one camera facing the rear, that way when we're taking it down the road, it's really hard to see behind this. So the one camera just shoots behind, that way you can see if somebody's trying to get around you. And the other camera that we have on the grain cart here, as you can see, that actually shoots down. You can actually see it up there from the bottom of the spout. That way when you're loading trucks, you can see about how full it's getting here on the display. So that's another nice feature of this computer and 4600 in this tractor. I had to stop running the grain cart. In this field here that we're working on today, we have a test plot, so there is 20 plus different varieties of soybeans out here depending on maturity and different brands. So I'm gonna hop in the combine here with Dad. We got 8-row entries. I think it was 800 feet long. And we're gonna start combining our plot to see and harvest this data to make seed selections and recommendations for next year. So the way we combine the plot, since there are only 8-row entries, is we only take a half header width with the bean head, and then I'm here running our climate field view, which has all of the varieties already populated on there from when we planted, and then I'll create a different split load so we'll know the total amount of bushels, or the average bushel for each entry on the plot. We finished combining our soybean plot, had a total of 20 entries out there. On the top end, we had some that were going 70, 75 bushels per acre, and on the lower end, some that were going 25, 30 bushels per acre. So we'll use that in culmination with other test plots in the area to make decisions moving forward to next year. But that's going to be it for today's video. Thanks so much everyone for watching, and we'll see ya in the next one.